The Mona Lisa is one of the most famous paintings in the world. If you've ever seen it, you probably know that it doesn't look that great. So why is it so famous? This is an artist who you might have heard of named Leonardo da Vinci, and this is his most famous painting, the Mona Lisa. It was painted sometime in the early 1500s, but we don't know the exact date. What we do know is that it was one of da Vinci's last paintings, that he worked on it obsessively, and that he took it with him wherever he went for the last 3 years of his life. But other than that, we really don't know much about it, which is kind of weird considering that it's the Mona Lisa. It's not just the subject's mysterious air that makes the Mona Lisa so famous. It's also how da Vinci painted her. For starters, there's this technique that he used called sfumato, which is basically a fancy way of saying that instead of painting hard edges, he painted soft edges. In the case of the Mona Lisa, this meant that instead of painting the harsh line where her dress meets her skin, he smudged the brush strokes so that the line was blurred, giving the painting a dreamlike quality that was unprecedented at the time. There's also her smile, or more accurately, the lack of a smile. You can tell that she's smiling beneath her lips, but whether or not she's actually smiling is up to the viewer to decide. That ambiguity, that open-endedness, is part of what makes the Mona Lisa so fascinating. Everything in the painting seems so lifelike, down to the way her eyes seem to follow you around the room. And yet we can't know for sure whether or not she's happy, whether or not she's even aware that she's being painted. The Mona Lisa hung in da Vinci's estate for several years after his death in 1519. Then, in 1564, it was acquired by the French royal family and hung in the palace of Fontainebleau. It wasn't particularly well liked at the time, but that would all change in the 20th century. In 1911, an Italian-born Louvre employee named Vincenzo Peruggia stole the painting. He actually managed to get away with it for over 2 years before he was caught. The theft made global headlines and turned the Mona Lisa into a legend. It also did hurt that da Vinci had been dead for 400 years at this point, and everyone was looking for the next big thing. These days, the Mona Lisa is probably best known for inspiring memes. But before that, it made cameos in movies like The Da Vinci Code and The Hangover. There's a famous song about it by the band Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and if you were born in the 80s or 90s, you probably remember this iconic fashion. But maybe that shouldn't be too surprising. The Mona Lisa has inspired countless imitations over the years, not to mention this and this and this. So the Mona Lisa has certainly stood the test of time, but why? Why are we still obsessed with this ancient painting? Part of it is the emotional impact that it has on viewers. The sfumato technique that Leonardo da Vinci used may have been cutting edge 500 years ago, but it still has the power to mesmerize us today. Seeing those soft edges, those subtle gradations from light to dark, it just feels good. The mystery of her smile, the ambiguity of her expression, it makes us feel like there's more to this painting than meets the eye. We want to think that there's some secret message hidden in her eyes, some deep psychological truth about the human condition. And maybe there is. But perhaps the biggest reason that the Mona Lisa is still the most famous painting in the world is because it has become a symbol not just of art, but of France itself. The Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre, one of France's most important cultural institutions. And although it was recovered 2 years later, the damage was already done. The theft made international headlines and introduced the Mona Lisa to a whole new audience. It also didn't hurt that the thief was an Italian, which created a bit of a nationalistic fervor at the time. Ooh, those Italians stealing our stuff? And although that fervor has died down since then, the Mona Lisa's status as a national treasure remains. It's the star attraction at the Louvre, drawing in crowds of tourists from all over the world. It's impossible to imagine France without it. The Mona Lisa is famous for a lot of reasons. It's beautifully painted. Its subject is mysterious. It's been in a bunch of movies. But at its core, it's famous because we as humans love mysteries. We love trying to figure people out, trying to understand what makes them tick. And the Mona Lisa embodies that perfectly. She's a beautiful enigma, and we can't look away. Okay, thanks. Bye.